right, y'all. We got the CEO here today. And I know everybody got a lot of questions because I feel like, in my personal opinion, Free to Live went from this idea to this big booming operation. And everybody just wants to know the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why behind Free to Live. We know that it's a domestic violence nonprofit designed to help those who are survivors who may even still be in their situation. It's also a connecting point for advocates. It's a connecting point for other leaders. It's an empowering movement. But what's the in between all of that? That's where we want to land today. So we've got Star on the camera today, and we're just gonna guide through a kind of natural conversation and ask questions. But of course, after you guys watch this, you can always send her any of your other questions to her.
Yes, you can
Star.
send them to me.
Star.
Hello. My name is Starlee. I am the founder of Free to Live, which is a domestic violence nonprofit. I am a domestic violence survivor myself. I have been out of my relationship, out of that turmoil relationship for the past 8 years, was in it for over 11 years, and left with a child in tow when I finally did leave. Some of the things that I had to deal with was trying to deal with my trauma on my own. And on top of having multiple hats that I had to wear as a mother, as a daughter, working in leadership, on top of, just trying to find myself, it became a bit of a struggle when I finally did leave my domestic violence relationship. And it left me at a standstill where I was literally sitting on my old bed from when I was 16 years old at the age of 35, trying to figure out what do I do now that I had left my situation. And where I resided at the time did not have the resources that I personally was in need of in order for me to take those next steps to empowerment. So over the years after I had left, roughly between 4 to 5 years, I kind of delved into different areas of growth. And some of those areas was mental health, spiritual healing, fitness. I started investing in my education again and getting trainings and really trying to elevate myself to more than what I was when I did leave my relationship. Also during that period of time, because I am such a vocal person when it comes down to my feelings, I started writing, and I was writing on Facebook one day, and I was talking about my feelings being a domestic violence survivor and leaving the relationship and trying to, get a step up on my life again. And I realized that I had really gotten a lot of attention from individuals that were, sending me messages, letting me know how inspirational the things that I had been speaking on when it came down to domestic violence, how much it meant to them, because they themselves had gone through it, or they themselves were going through it at that moment. And to see that somebody was actually going through it and looking at the positive side of it as they were making their steps really made a difference for them. And so I did keep writing, just writing on Facebook, my journal entries, I guess, so to speak, on Facebook. And individuals started coming to me asking me if I would start a nonprofit. Like, would this be something that I would want to do? And when it first came up to me, it wasn't something I wanted to do. I was a project manager. I was working for a pretty well-known company, and I was living my normal life. But over time, it kind of became more of a nudge on my back that this was no longer where I needed to be in project management, and that I needed to move in the direction of where my heart was. And because I find the holistic side of rehabilitating myself in this from being in a domestic violence relationship, I realized that there's, traumas from the domestic violence, or from the physical side, there's the emotional side, the mental side, the financial side, there's even religious abuse out there. So there's so many different things that I know for myself that I had to try to rehabilitate. And so I wanted to build something like that for domestic violence survivors as well. We have lots of resources out there for domestic violence victims who are moving into the survivor phase, but those survivors that are actually out and are now living their day-to-day lives, whether it be them as a mother or them just being as a friend to someone else, they have to be able to hold a certain hat. And if you don't feel as though you are empowered enough or feel the strength that you can wear that hat, you're not going to wear it well. So, our program, what we try to do is we try to bridge certain resources to domestic violence survivors along with their families to give them that empowerment that they need to really influence change in their lives and change for their, for their families and for their friends as well. So we did go on and we created initiatives. We have a mental health initiative where we are so glad to have Denver here with us. That is a part of that. We also have our financial literacy initiative, which Jessica, you are a part of as well. We have yoga, we have meditation, breath work. We really delve into nervous system regulation because, as many domestic violence survivors go through, we have anxiety, we have PTSD, we have things that it can spark something in us, it can trigger us, and we have to be able to know how to identify that and then how to also soothe yourself, in those moments to get you through so you can continue your day to day and be the best person that you can be now that you are out of those relationships.
That is true.
I know a lot of survivors felt guilty for staying, which I always tell them, when you come in this office, anything that you've done, any decision that you made, there's no room for guilt because you love that person. And at that time, you did what you thought was the best thing to do. So now that you are away from that, let's reprogram those thoughts. And we had to work around a lot. And I know a lot of survivors, they feared retaliation.
When survivors come up to you guys, and when they make comments like, I'm just really bad with my money, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get this, I've always been bad with my money, and where that's coming from. That's coming from a low self-worth as far as them believing in themselves that they can live better than just by what means they currently have. How would you talk to a survivor and get them to understand the money side, the benefits of really putting in the discipline to understanding how money works, the money energy, the mindset of money, and how you can actually utilize it in a passionate way without it being painful?
This is more spiritually related than anything.
My question, huh? I made that up. Boom.
It's, for me, one of the key thing that you just said is the energy, currency. And I always tell people that your relationship with money is going to reflect every relationship you have in your life. And that lack mentality, it's always the beginning of those with a bad relationship with money. So most people don't think of, and I just took this accounting class, bookkeeping class. When you go and learn about money, they'll literally tell you have assets and you have liabilities. Most people spend money on liabilities, which are things that would never produce into anything that you could benefit from later. So I don't want to say it like that, but I would say in those abusive situations, everything that we were spending our money on were liabilities. Mm-hmm. So then when you ask yourself, why was I putting in so much energy, including the money, because it's an extension of you, why was I putting so much energy into liabilities, not assets? So when you start there, you start to really understand the why. It always roots to something else, something deeper. And so for me personally, what made me start shifting, what the difference was a shift in mindset from lack mentality to growth mentality. Mm. And I know people be like, that's easier said than done. And I'm like, no. And yeah, because you got all the other fluff that you got to work through. But going from victim to empowered, it was a shift in mindset. Mm. And money is still an attachment of you. Every money that comes into you, all of that, it comes and flows out from you. So I put it back on them. It's like, most people look at finances and the only thing they think about are bills. There goes your law of assumption. Their mind doesn't go to anything outside of liability. So it's always fear-based. So when I start teaching financial literacy, I start showing them different ways that isn't like, because they're always like, I don't have any extra money laying around. Yes, you do.
You do.
You do. Even if it's just $1 a week. And when you start doing the dollar a week, that grows, because there goes that also, again, the law of assumption. You're sowing energy, even if it's just $1, you're changing your mindset from I can't to, you know what, I'm going to prioritize this. This is going to be the priority. I'm just going to sow $1 into my savings, and then before you know it, that dollar is going to turn into $10 a week. It's going to turn into $15 a week. Then you're going to start having conversations with people about, what can I invest in?
Yeah. So what is one truth about healing and money you wish someone had told you from the very start of your journey once you left domestic violence? One truth about healing and money you wish someone told you when you first left domestic violence. I can go first.
Well, as far as healing, it doesn't stop. You just you continue to build.
It's a continuous journey.
It is. That is one truth right there that I think everyone should understand. It's continuous. It's ongoing. This is fluid.
I mean, it is. You may backtrack. I mean, you may have some slip ups, but it's continuous. Like you said, it's fluid. You don't.
For me, it was. I know this. I don't know. I hope this makes sense. But for me, it was everybody ain't your friend.
Yes.
Everybody don't care, and everybody don't need to know.
Yeah.
That makes sense. When I left, I used to overshare. And then what it started doing was making me a target.
Yeah.
Well, when they realize you're in that vulnerable state, well, I can come and ask you for something, and I know you're looking for comfort. I know you're looking for friendship.
Yeah.
Like, that was something I wish someone had told me, was that as much as you think that once you leave, it's just going to be this great big old, you're going to run into other abusers that don't necessarily look like the person you were with, but their friends can be abusers. Social settings, work. And when you overshare and let too many people in, that's why I say you need to find your anchor. You need to figure out who your support system is. Keep it there. Everybody don't need to know.
Yeah. And I think for me, healing and money, what I would have wanted to know probably from the beginning is that money is not going to heal.
Yep.
I think that was one of my biggest thing. It was thinking that if I put my career and I put money in front of what I had gone through, if I put money in front of every time I wanted to go shopping to appease whatever anxiety that I was feeling.
Yep. I kept saying, it's retail therapy.
Every time I wanted to go out for drinks to get myself to calm down, to pacify my emotions.
Yeah.
That was used, that was money, and that was not going to heal me. And I think every time I left my abuser, and it was 11 times, over 11 years that I left, I never realized that. And I always would overindulge.
Yep.
Financially, trying to pacify myself, only for me to fall right back into the same trap again, where I'm right back with that same abuser. And that money that I spent did nothing. It did not heal anything.
It masked.
It masked. And made it more enticing for the abuser to come back.
Yep.
Instead of me retreating and really focusing on myself and the true healing from within, and not putting so much stress on money.
Right.